What's going on? So the video gonna be about the David Stern NBA and his Negroes. You know, I saw Two Raw was doing a video because I watched Two Raw for Sports and I'm giving them a shout out. I always dug their stuff on Sports Bros. All the ones, the content creators, especially when we talk about old school NBA and different things. And the video was talking about Dennis Rodman almost getting kicked out because of his tats. And that got me thinking because I remember, oh, do I have memories? Where do I start with David Stern and his Negroes of the NBA Association? Allen Iverson and his tats and his album, which got whiteballed because he said some slurs, which powers that be didn't want. How do I remember back in the 92? I want to say it was a dunk contest. It was 93, 93, 94. I got 94. Slam dunk contest. Yeah, it was 94 because Snoop's Doggy Style album came out in 93, so it's 94 dunk. And it ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. They were only allowed to use the instrumental track for background. Well, yeah, obviously, with the lyricals, but Sean Kemp was dunking to that. But David Stern did not want that rap music. He did not want that rap music. My video is going to tell you about David Stern and his Negroes. See, Dr. J was a problem till he got refined in the NBA. Michael Ray Richardson with the coke had to go. There was no Roy Tarpley, had to go. Michael Jordan was a nice, clean-cut Negro. Okay? He became the poster child for what Stern wanted. That's why he told Clyde Drexler, you got to play the game. I'm going between all the way to expose how things go. But David Stern didn't say anything about Elgin Baylor facing the racism from Donald Sterling, fellow Jew who owned the league. Never said anything about the plantation going to the NBA. As long as you were good Negroes. If you bucked the system, your butt got dealt, like Craig Hodges after going to the White House and asking then President Bush about the treatment of African Americans and different things going on in the NBA. He had to go. Mamadou Raoul protested the national anthem 95, got whiteballed because he wouldn't stand, had to go. See, the situations that you see now, how do you get to a LeBron James and the so-called he's representing? No, he's not. Or when they did get rid of Donald Sterling with the Clippers and the Warriors, and they did that. Well, that was Adam Silver, but Stern knew all about it, just like he knew about the fixing with the refs. And you ask, how does that tie in racially? Well, it does, because Rasheed Wallace will tell you, if you were a certain type of Negro, the Detroit Pistons of the 20 years ago scared David Stern. The man said, I want LA versus LA. Shaquille O'Neal was his favorite center because he was marketable. He always looked for who he could mark, not taking your talents away, because I hold Shaq in high regard. However, marketing counted, just like David Robinson was the Admiral. Karl Malone was the mailman. You notice the nicknames and the cliches and how Reggie Miller, everybody fit a certain bill. Isaiah was a bad Negro. See, David Stern and his Negroes, if you go from the 80s, 90s to the 00s until he passed and retired, you see a pattern. He had the good Negro, the bad Negro, and the one we don't talk about Negro. He allowed the game to change from more enforcers and certain things, but he didn't care for the loud, brashly ones. And he gave out suspensions. You remember how Latrell Sprewell and Metta World Peace? When Rasheed Wallace talked about John Morant, what did he say in his interview? He said if that had been David Stern's league, this kid would never come back. That's a fact. This is the first time I've indulged this because I got inspired about that one. Because I remember Rodman almost did get thrown out by his tats. But I wanted to go one step further. I wanted to show you from Magic's house in Virginia downplayed, his personal life downplayed, Michael Jordan's personal life downplayed, how you go to Dwayne Wade, you can go, and all allegedly, and you can say what you want. But see, Stern was a lawyer. And David Stern is like the Clive Davis of the NBA. Believe me, there's a lot of stuff that's been covered that ain't been discovered. But we're going to make this a PG rated, maybe PG-13 show. That's the premise that was sold. Adam Silver's got more of a Starbursty International. It's a little bit different spin, more sympathetic to an extent, but don't be fooled. But Stern wanted his Negroes to be good. Let me tell you something. And I always had a love-loathe thing with Stern because a buddy of mine who passed, and we used to talk about it all the time. I said, well, they did call the Knicks when they were all black in the 70s the N-word Bockers because you could never sell an all-black team. And so Stern found a way to manipulate stuff. I'm going to use the Negroes, but it's going to be, to quote Pharrell Williams, I want new Negroes. I don't want the Spencer Haywood type. I don't want the ones who are malcontent or going to be or Adrian Danley or the threatening establishment. I want a certain type. You could be a dignified Negro like Alex English, but you're going to stay over there in Saudi Arabia and Denver at that time. I want a certain type to sell the game. That's what it was. And that's how Stern operated. His disdain for hip hop culture and the dress code, the braids, the tats, it was, and you remember Phil Jackson said they're looking like cats out the joint and said some things very derogatory. That was the agenda. And the funny thing is that you got black basketball players that swear up and down that it's the freest league and it's our player league and they say all this stuff. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Because if you knew about David Stern and his Negro League, and was it William Rhodes who wrote that book about $40 million Slave about the NBA plantation? That was written very much during the David Stern era. If you ain't read that book, read it. But Stern wanted to dress and suit up, and the coaches too, a certain type of Negro that would fit the agenda. I ain't lying. They know all the angles of what's going on, and David Stern had them all covered. John Sally always said he was the Don, and he really was. They just don't talk about that NBA situation like they would talk about a Clive Davis or Jimmy Iovine or some of these music industry or Harvey Weinstein. Something. And I'm not saying Stern was like those cats particular, but let me tell you something. The control manipulation is real. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shitter if you like. I'm out. Peace.